In this video, we're just going to ask a simple question. Is the media hypocritical and irresponsible? That's a simple question. Of course, I'll answer with yes, they are hypocrites. I'll give you a main example, and it's the main point of what I'm trying to say. Some of you may remember PewDiePie. You know, the Wall Street Journal went after him because supposedly he made some racist comments. He didn't. They were just out of context, and the Wall Street Journal ran with it, tried to slander him. And of course, if you look at PewDiePie's subscribers, over 52 million subscribers, and then you look at the Wall Street Journal, you know, you realize that PewDiePie is making more money than all their writers combined. So of course they're going to attack him. But notice they attack PewDiePie, they attack any so-called white person that they think is racist. However, you can check out Logic No Girls Allowed. He did a video of this guy, African American, who doesn't like white folks, makes it pretty obvious. He doesn't really care for women because he thinks they're giving their vaginas to white guys and things like that, you know. You won't see the media going after him. You will not see the media going after any of these black races or Hispanic races. Of course, I know only white people can be racist, and that's another nonsense from them. That's why they're irresponsible. They're irresponsible because they do these things. They want to separate us, getting us fighting each other. That makes them irresponsible. Now, before anyone says anything, I think all of them, both the liberal and the conservative side, are the same when it comes to being irresponsible and hypocritical. Another reason why they're hypocritical is because their own views is like, we're right, you're wrong, you're stupid, and you're evil, you're horrible, and they're more than willing to lie and slander the other side. Let me get back to my point, though. You'll have, you know, in cities like Philadelphia and Chicago, these black hate groups, they stand on the sidewalk preaching their hatred. The media doesn't do nothing about it. Nobody does. These social justice warriors will attack whites, you know, that, and they should be attacked verbally, not physically, when they spew hatred. You know, they should be. You should shut them down. I mean, if there's talk about all these N-words should be killed or locked up, or, you know, yeah, you don't need to listen to them. I wouldn't really shut them down. Let them speak and you ignore them. That's the smartest thing to do. If you shut them down, really, you're just playing into their hands. But you don't see them at all doing it to these black racists that are on these streets. You don't see the media doing it or any of these groups. They'll never do it. The only people that I've ever noticed watching some of these other YouTube videos that actually will get in their faces are other African Americans, Asians, and Hispanics telling them that, hey, you're racist, we don't want to hear your crap, get off the street. You will never see a white person do that. However, you'll see a white person attack another white person for being racist. And you'll see African Americans and Hispanics doing the same thing. And a lot of times they're respectful about it. I'm not talking about the white folks, I'm talking about the African Americans. Not respectful about it. Ask yourself this question, though. These journalists, the people in the media and everything, why is it they don't volunteer or work at, you know, African American colleges, volunteer and work in African American neighborhoods, these social justice warrior types? Why they don't do that? Why they don't volunteer at all? Now, I'm not saying every person in the media is bad, but basically the media is basically turned into a bunch of talking heads giving their opinions. Basically, it's an opinion piece. It's kind of like The Onion, except for The Onion, you know, isn't real news. But the main news, you don't really know because they over-exaggerate things. They lie now, especially after this Trump guy became president. They're really going after him. They're nailing him because they don't agree with his views. And, of course, they don't like his... They purposely misconstrue immigration and illegal immigration. They make it like, you know, we're going after all immigrants. The nation's built on immigrants. Yeah, it was built on immigrants. And immigration laws were different in the past than they are now. But we're talking about illegal immigrants, not legal immigrants. Okay? No nation is going to survive allowing a bunch of people coming in that are not legal. Illegal immigrants. And have you looked up the statistics of how much crime is committed by illegal immigrants? How many of them are in prison? And they can't really get a job. And then how much money spent of our tax dollars are spent on those illegal immigrants? Why doesn't the media mention that stuff? They won't. Don't expect them to. They will never be on. And honest about stuff like that. And why is it in decades ago people had their guns in their car and stuff like that, and they would go to class, you know, at school, and then go do whatever they want. Now all of a sudden the media's anti-gun, the media's anti-this, anti-that. Whatever their masters tell them to be against, they're against. And if you look at them, you'll see who controls them, because as they do the credits and all this stuff, it tells you, hey, we're owned by this person and that person. And you look at the people that own them. You know, basically you got billionaires telling millionaires what to do. Well, most of those talking heads are millionaires. I'm not talking about your local news. I'm talking about the main networks. Your local news, they're a little bit better. I'll say they have more credibility than the national news. It's just be careful. And you know, why doesn't the media try to get people to be the change they want? Yeah, they complain about racism and privilege. And there's no such thing as white privilege. This is a bunch of nonsense. But anyways, and women have more rights, privileges than men, if you really think about it. If you consider all the scholarships and loans, all the job opportunities, there are more opportunities for African Americans and women than there are for white males. I hate to tell you that. I know some of you are going to hate me for saying that, but it's the truth. You can look it up. But anyways, why doesn't the media try to tell people to be the change? You know, try to convince people, hey, you need to get on the school board, get into law enforcement, you know, and how to do it, of course. Get into government, you know, be senators, representatives, and all this stuff, you know, and how to get, and also try to get people to want to get an education, get into science, math, get into medicine, get into healthcare, get into all these other fields. I already mentioned in my other videos, you know, about educating yourself. You know, take classes in logic, critical thinking, science, math. You should be interested in sports. Sports are important. Music, art, foreign languages, critical thinking, debate, argumentation styles. You know, things like that. And of course that list is not exhaustive. People should learn to do these things. That way you learn to think critically, so you can look at the pseudoscience nonsense, and that's another way the media is irresponsible. They just report anything they hear without looking it up. You know, they'll tell you this is healthy, then all of a sudden it's not healthy. It's not the scientists that aren't sure of themselves. It's the media reporting things before something is peer-reviewed. If it's not peer-reviewed, if the media doesn't tell you, hey, this is where the journal, you can find this and it's peer-reviewed, I wouldn't really listen to what they say. Even peer-reviewed research can be overthrown, because that's the point of peer review, is scientists constantly check your work. That's one thing that you got to learn when you take these science classes, how peer review works, what a theory actually is, how to debate, how to prove your results. You know, you got to learn how to do. That's why I also recommend with the math, geometry, and statistics and probability. People need to learn statistics and probability. So when people throw statistics at them, they understand what they're hearing, and they don't just all of a sudden just believe what they're being told by the media, which is of course hypocritical and irresponsible. Anyways, only their opinions are right, only their views are right. Everyone else is wrong. Everyone else is stupid and anti-American or anti-woman or anti-this, anti-that, just because they disagree with us. People have different opinions, and they have a right to have a different opinion. It's just how it is. This would be a boring world if everyone just simply agreed with everybody. Of course, I wouldn't mind everybody agreeing with me, but hey, that's not going to happen. And of course, this will be under my presidential thingy, my highly presidential, because as you may or may not know, in 2020 or 2024, 2028, whatever year you watch this, if you watch this, you know, you can vote for me for president. I've mentioned in my other videos what I would do, you know, certain changes and all this, especially education and science is my main focus. And you'll notice the media doesn't report everything that's happening around the world. And people need to learn history, world history, American history, United States American history. And when they learn American history, they need to be included African American history and contribution of women. You know, if you learn, Francis, oh man, I should not remember, forgot her name. I can't believe I forgot her name. Rosalind Franklin. People should learn about her contribution to genetics. You know, how her work, in my opinion, got stolen. And that's how she, in my opinion, is the one with her X-ray analysis discovered the double helix. You know, Watson Crick deserves some work. They did a lot of work, but they used her x-rays. But as I said, you know, that's going to be it for this video, because I already don't like long videos. But really, if you really think about it, the media is kind of corrupted now. And that's another thing. You want to be a change, get into the media, get into journalism. And it would be nice if the media was more honest and wasn't just attacking people, because they just seem like that's all they do now is slander anyone that they don't agree with. They just slander and hammer them and hammer them and hammer them. How about you debate them and prove them wrong with, you know, certain facts and stuff. Let people make up their own minds instead of you trying to make up their mind for them. Of course, you'll never get that from this media, especially now that they're losing to the, you know, the PewDiePies and people like them, that, you know, YouTubers and bloggers and all that. Not to me, because I suck, but people that actually know what they're doing. I'm just here just to make money. Of course, I'm not making any money, but you know what I mean. Bye.